Good evening everyone. Today we are going to start with Cascode amplifier, which has another name which will be coming up in a little bit of time. The diagram is something new. Let's see one by one. You have two transistors connected via direct coupling network. You have at the input of the first transistor you have three resistances being connected in a potential divider configuration, and you have the second transistor again connected, again being biased via a potential divider by three resistances. How is it connected? Let's see one by one. Now this is the first transistor named Q1. This is the second transistor named Q2. Now let us name these resistances first. This resistance is named R1. Here it is being named R2. Here it is being named R3. Now the emitter resistance is given by RE, and the bypass capacitor, but of course is given by CE. Here, since let us see the input and output terminals of both the transistors. The input is via a base being coming from a coupled capacitor 1 CC1. Now and let us also name the terminals along the way. Here it is this point is named as C1. Here it is being named as B1, and here it is being named, this point for example is say named E1. Now if I start naming these points over here, this point will be named as E2, this point over here will be named as say B2, and this point over here will be named as C2. Now C1, that is the first collector of the collector terminal of the first transistor, is connected to the emitter terminal of the second transistor. Now if we come to the first transistor, input is via a base and output is via a collector. The common terminal is emitter, which is common to both input and output. Hence this transistor Q1 is connected in CE configuration, wherein when we come to C transistors are two, the input is via emitter, the output is via collector, but the terminal which is common to both input and output is the base terminal. Hence the second transistor is connected in a CB configuration. If this is connected in a CB configuration, the capacitor's name is being given as C chotu b. Now here, since this is the input, I'll like to name it as Vi. Since this is the output, I'll name it as V0 or V0 or V output. यहाँ पे we have a name as coupling capacitor 2, and I guess we are all set over here. Now let's see one by one. This diagram is being restructured in this way. How is it possible? Let's see. The first thing that I've done is I've drawn the second transistor on the upper section and the lower transistor in the bottom and the first transistor in the lower section. Now this connection over here, I'll just this line from C1 to E2 is known as direct coupling. Why? Because generally what we have after capacitor of the first transistor is a coupling capacitor C2, then we give it to some another transistor and to some another amplifier, in another words, but here it is being coupled directly to the input of the second transistor. Hence the name direct coupling, hence the name CECB direct coupled amplifier. Now I'll just redraw this circuit over here. The firstly I have drawn the second transistor on the above section and the first transistor on the lower section. Q2 is connected. Q2 is connected to RC and RC is connected to VCC. So this will be my RC, this will be my CC2, and via CC2 I am getting my output VO. Q2 is connected to Q1 and Q1 is connected to RE and RE, which is bypassed by a bypass capacitor CE. Now Q2 is getting an input from a voltage divider circuit. Now this point over here is nothing but this point over here, which is getting connected to over here. So yes, one terminal is connected from this part to VCC and the another one is connected from this part to ground. So let's see, this one is my R1, which is connected from this point from my terminal number VB2. This I'll name it as for the sake of convenience, this will be named as VB2, and this point over here will be named as VB1. So from VB2 to VCC I am having a connection of R1, and from VB2 to ground, I'll make this connection as ground over here. From VB2 to ground I am having R2 and R3 in series configuration. VB2 is connected to ground over here. I'll name this point as VB2. VB2 is connected to ground via CB, hence this capacitor is being named CB. And VB1, the point over here, this point over here, this one is named as VB1. So this point VB1 is connected to the input, and this point is connected to the input. Sorry, this won't be ground, this will be my input, this will be my VI. Apologies for the mistake. This one will be my CC1. Now let us fill in the blanks as we usually do into a regular lecture. First of all, Q1, the first transistor, it is connected in which configuration? CE. Hence Q1 is connected in CE configuration. Q2, now Q2 is over here, the input is at emitter, output is from collector. The base terminal is common to both input and output, hence it is being connected in CB configuration. Now coming back to the coupling capacitor one, as we usually remember the name, coupling capacitor is being given because it needs to block the DC, and it allows pure AC to reach any part of the circuit. Here it is allowing pure AC to reach the input of the first transistor, or the input of fine, let it be. C1 is to block, as for now it is simply to block DC and allow only AC. Aram, I hope you are not confused as of now. You still remember how we used to remember कि भाई capacitor में से AC signal कैसे pass होता है. CC2 again, it blocks, what does it blocks? It blocks DC and allows AC to reach the load. Over here I haven't drawn any load. If there would have been any load, it would have across this terminal VO के across मेरा CC2 connect हो सकता था. Now there is a combination of resistances to be considered for each transistor. For this transistor, for Q, let us have what is being written over here: R1 and R2 plus R3. R1 is a single resistor and R2 plus R3 make a common connection named R2 plus R3. Now this is a potential divider configuration working as an input to the second transistor. Hence R1 and R2 plus R3 are working as potential divider to provide positive voltage at the base of Q2. At the base of Q2 over here. That means the junction JBE2 over here will be forward bias. Always remember, for a transistor to work as an amplifier, we have two junctions, JBE and JBC. JBE should be what, everyone? It should be forward biased, and JBC should be reverse biased. Now R1 and the combination of R2 plus R3 is providing positive input, is providing positive voltage to the base of second transistor. Also it is allowing for the junction JBE2 to be forward biased. Similarly, I'll be having R1 plus R2 ka combination with and R3. This is one resistor, both of them forms single resistor, and this one is already the single resistor. Now R1 plus R2 and R3 are working as potential divider to provide positive voltage at the base of the first transistor, that is Q1. Hence the junction JBE1 over here is acting as a forward bias. Now RE, we haven't usually described RE, but the function of RE is to provide DC negative feedback to keep Q point stable against the temperature variation. But of course, if there is any temperature variation while performing the practical, or while the circuit is in implementation, RE provides DC negative feedback. It also provides AC negative feedback, which we don't want. We always want the AC feedback to remain into the circuit. We don't want it to be negative. Hence the CE, which is bypassed, it avoids the AC negative feedback. In another words, it avoids the gain to come down. वो gain को balance करने में मदद करता है. Now RC is, if you can look over here, RC provides voltage at now this is somewhat important. Now RC is connected to C2. Then C2 is a part of the transistor, of which B2 and E2 are also a part. E2 is directly connected to C1. Now C1 is a part of B1 and E1 again, and via B1 it is the base voltage over here. VB1, which is formed by the potential divider biasing. All this configuration while making JBE is forward bias, but you also need to make sure that JBC is reverse biased. Along with that, you also need to make sure if my JBE2, as we had mentioned over here, JBE2, JBE2 is, if it is forward bias, I need to make sure that my JBC2 is reverse bias. Then and only then this entire structure can work as an amplifier. This one is done by RC. How? Let's see. RC provides voltage at C2 over here. RC, which is connected to C2, it provides the voltage at C2 higher than B2. Hence, जब ऐसा कुछ कॉन्फ़िगरेशन होगा, जब कलेक्टर पे आपका ज़्यादा वोल्टेज होगा, देन दिस टाइप ऑफ कॉन्फ़िगरेशन JBC2 विल बी रिवर्स बायस. नाउ VB2 माइनस VBE2 विच इज़ ओवर ईयर VB2, और यहाँ पे आपके पास एक VBE2 होगा. Voltage at this point VB2 minus VBE2 over here will make C1 much higher than B1. In another words, अगर C1 कलेक्टर पे मेरा वोल्टेज ज़्यादा हुआ तो मेरा बेस से वो ज़्यादा होगा, तो वो रिवर्स बायस हो जाएगा. Hence VB2, that means the voltage over here minus the voltage at VBE2, which is nothing but, if you look at it, is nothing but E2 is nothing but C1, which is nothing but voltage at C1, which is higher than B1. Hence my VB1, which is higher than B1, sorry, hence this makes this diode as reverse biased. I'll repeat the statement once again. RC is connected such that C2 is higher than B2. अगर कलेक्टर में voltage ज़्यादा है, then that junction becomes reverse bias. Similarly, if my VB2, that is the base at voltage of transistor 2, is minus the base VBE2, will be giving me VE2. VE2 is nothing but VC1. Hence, sir, अगर आपका VB2 minus VBE2 is what do you say, is giving me a result which will make my VC1 higher than VB1, then of course यहाँ पे जो आपका डायोड होगा वो reverse biased होगा, which is all about cascode amplifier. Also, there is a question, why the name cascode? What was wrong in the name CE-CB direct couple amplifier? If you look into the naming of the diagram, it is simple. CE-CB direct couple amplifier, quite well and quite simple and sweet. But then what was the need to name it as cascode? We'll come to that later on. First, we'll go to the second part of the diagram wherein we go for DC analysis. Also, before going for DC analysis, I would expect everyone to draw this and this circuit diagram in your notebook for practice, because it seems that the university is quite keen on asking this question many times for 10 marks. And for 10 marks, you can't write simple theory. You need to go for DC and AC analysis. So yes, I would expect you guys to pause the video and take the and draw the diagram for this over here, the circuit diagram, and a simple restructured circuit diagram. It is not yet the DC analysis. Why? Because we still have the capacitors connected to the circuit diagram. Hence, this is not the DC analysis. I hope you have paused the video and drawn both this circuit diagram. Once done with that, we'll move on to the DC analysis. Now, the DC analysis would be something very much simpler in nature. So yes, let's see what happens in DC analysis. Now, in the DC analysis, the circuit diagram is somewhat in this way, in which the capacitors are being removed because they work as open for DC, and if we are doing AC analysis, we would have kept it. Now, I have named this voltage over here as VB2, here as VB1. In this diagram, for the very first time, I have mentioned all the currents and the voltages which we are going to encounter. For example, if this is RC, the current flowing through that will be IC2. The one coming from here, that is from VB2, will be IB2. Both of them will result into IE2, which finally becomes IC1. Now this IC1 again forming with IB1 may give you a result as IE1. Again, there is a mention of VBE1 over here, and you may also mention plus minus VB2 VE2. Let's see if they are useful or not. For simplification purpose, we have done the DC analysis in quite a separate and easier way. I have drawn this transistor from here at the above section, and this transistor at the below section. Now if you look into over here, now Q1 is connected to VB1, Q1 is connected to VB1, VB1 के ऊपर you have R1 and R2, hence this one will be R1 plus R2. Below the bottom of VB1 we have R3, which is connected to ground. Here we have VBE1. Since this is the emitter terminal over here, the output over here will be nothing but VE1, since this is the first transistor, and this one will be named as RE, and the current coming out of RE will be nothing but IE1. So this is how the diagram of DC analysis for the first transistor looks like. This is the second transistor, the diagram for analysis or DC analysis of second transistor. So let's see what happens over here. Q2 के ऊपर we have RC. The current flowing through RC is nothing but IC2. Now Q2 के नीचे the output voltage, as I would say, at this point it is nothing but what do you say, V, since this is emitter, VE2, which is connected to the collector of the first transistor. If you look over here, the emitter of the second is connected to the collector of the first, hence VE2 can also be reframed as VC2. Coming back to the left hand side, we have VB2 के ऊपर R1, and VB2 के नीचे we have R2 plus R3 over here. Now let's start with the DC analysis. For the simplification purpose, we have stated that let IB1, which is nothing but the current coming from input over here, IB1, and IB2, which are nothing but IB1 and IB2, let them be 0. If those two currents are 0, it would be very much easier for me to say that IC2 is equals to IE2 is equals to IC1 is equals to IE1. I'll put that in writing. If I'm stating that let IB1, which is equals to IB2, which is equals to 0, so IC2, my current from here, becomes equals to IE2. Now IE2 is equals to IC1 from here, IC1, which is equals to IE1. Now if I come back to this diagram over here, if I want to find out VB1 by voltage divider rule, if I am finding out VB1 is nothing but the voltage between this point and this point. So this will be simply by voltage divider rule, we have VB1 as R3 upon RT. I am writing the combination of R3 plus R1 plus R2 as RT. RT is nothing but R1 plus R2 plus R3. In order to write down the formula for VB1, we needed to write it as R3 upon R3 plus R1 plus R2, which is nothing but RT, into VCC. VE1, that means the point over here. If I start my journey from this point, it will be nothing but simple as VB1 minus VBE1. If I want to write it down in this fashion, if I wanted to have in simple KVL format, it would have been VB1 minus VBE1 minus VE1, which is equals to 0. I took this term over here and hence the result over here. Therefore IE1 is nothing but the current flowing through the resistor RE, hence it will, I is nothing but V upon R. The voltage across RE is nothing but VE. Since this is first transistor, I will be having VE1 upon I is nothing but V upon RE. Now IE, if I am not wrong, is nothing but IC1 is equals to IE2 is equals to IC2. Hence IE1 is nothing is equals to IC2 is equals to IE2 is equals to IC2. Now VB2, if I am coming back to this point over here, VB2 is nothing but by voltage divider rule, if I apply VB2, it is nothing but plus minus, this is nothing but VB2. VB2 case, how do you apply a voltage divider rule? Now while applying a voltage divider rule, you need to see the resistance which is in front of that voltage which you are finding. So VB2 के सामने कौन सा है? R2 plus R3, hence that will be in the numerator R2 plus R3 upon RT. RT is nothing but R2 plus R3 plus R1 into my VCC. Now VE2 over here, if I am writing it in the format which I have written previously, VE2 will be nothing but VB2 minus VBE2, which is also equals to VC2. As you can see over here, VE2 is equals to VC2, since the emitter of the second transistor is connected to the collector of the first. Hence VE2 is equals to VC1. Sorry, my bad. This one will be VC1. My bad. Apologies. Therefore, VC1 is equals to VB2 minus VBE2. VC2, which is the collector current of the, which is somewhat over here, VC2. VC2 can be simply written as VCC minus IC2 RC. Hence, since we are having VC2, VE2 and VC1 and VE1, we can simply write down VCE1 as VC1 minus VE1 and VCE2 as VC2 minus VE2. I hope we are clear up till this point. In the next lecture, we'll be starting up with AC analysis of cascade amplifier. Thank you.